The following program contains adult language, poor taste in jokes, racial slurs, political slurs, slants, and all sorts of things that if you are sensitive and have a delicate constitution, you should probably go watch Teletubbies. You were warned.
I ain't drunk, I'm just drinking.
But you're so high.
Oh man, you know I ain't high.
But you're so high.
Yeah, well I just take a little sip every now and then.
But you're so high.
You ought to be ashamed of
Stay
yourself.
drunk all
Oh,
the
come on now,
time.
you all don't feel like that.
Bam! Hey kids, welcome back. Happy day, whatever day it is. Real quick, this is completely unrelated, but I wanted to do a shout out to a buddy of mine on YouTube, and I'm gonna put a link to his channel right here. It's Nerdcopter, and hey brother, I loved your last video. He made fun of me in it. It was really great. Check him out. He's fucking hilarious. Anyway, welcome to the SuperBee build. Let me give you some background on this bird. I bought this frame 100% out of ignorance, okay? When I got my 3D printer 2 months ago or so, I was looking through Thingiverse, and I'm on, Thingiverse, and I'm looking at quadcopter pods, and I found one that I really thought would be cool if it was striped. So I made one, right? And it turned out really, really cool. And so I'm like, and the frame was an Armattan Fury. So I thought, well, Armattan's everywhere. I do not like Armattan, usually. But it was just a single plate. It's not a chameleon or any of that crap. And so I ordered the fucking thing completely out of ignorance one night. $30 frame, but I didn't realize it was from Armattan Productions, which means they build everything like custom, or they build the order basically. And it was also in Taiwan. So it took, what, a month and a half, 2 months? I mean, I think I made this one of the first canopies I ever made with my 3D printer, and I just got the frame today. Can you believe that? So, and here it is, boom. Really nothing to write home about at all. I'm not reviewing it. If you don't mind waiting, I mean, I guess this is a review, but this is literally all there was. They came with a sticker in this for 35 bucks, I believe. They probably charged me shipping too. So, yeah, we got a 5mm frame. That's it. Edges aren't even chamfered, nothing. Do I recommend you buy it? Probably not. It's got a lot of flex to it, honestly, more than I like. You do need a certain amount of flex, guys. You do not want the tensile strength of your carbon to be so fucking strong that when you crash, boom, shit blows up. You don't want to be flying a piece of glass, but on the other hand, you don't want too much flex, and this has quite a bit. Too much flex will give you harmonics. When you're vibrate, you get a bent prop, it exacerbates that even more, and then it sends your gyro into a fit, and I don't think I would go for this. If you take, yeah, I mean, any other frame in the world. Whatever. But I bought this frame, honestly, and this is really fucking gay, but I really bought it because I like the canopy that I made. That's it. Next time I'll just have one of my CNC guys in Dayton make me one similar, It is actually in the morning, so I'm drinking coffee. How cool is that? So that means this thing isn't going to work. What are we going to put in this? So we got this, I'm going to use Mr. Copper motors. These are the 2400 kV, not the 27s. I built a lot of birds with 2700 kV motors recently, in the last couple months, and hot rods, stupid fast, boom, boom, boom. Case in point, remember the monster build? This guy that I did it was the build off of my buddy Twitch in the club, and unbelievably fast, very, very, very cool. But it's battery vampire from hell. I'm trying to get away from that because I'm not a racer anyway. I just wanted to build a few, see what it was like, whatever. So we got the Mr. Copper decent motors. I already pre-braided them. The Fury frame, what are we going to put in this guy? I haven't planned this out very good. Hang on. I have a Betaflight F4. I am not using a Helio spring in this one. And ESC. Hang on. I think we're going to use the bolt 35 amp BL Heli 32. That's a nice ESC. I've used a few of these, and they work out really well. They're a little bit expensive. I really like, hang on. As you guys know, I love the Racer Star 30th anniversary. I don't know why it says 11 year. Why does it say 11 year when it says 30 when you order it? I don't know, it doesn't matter. But it's $30 ESC. So basically $1 an amp. And I've never blown one up. They work absolutely great. They're not 32-bit. They're normal BL Heli S. And they work absolutely fucking great. I love them. I can't remember why I even ended up with these. I had 2 or 3 of them. But I do like the way the pads are laid out. It's a nice machine. And the Betaflight. And camera, I'm not sure. I don't even know what cameras I have. We might be using a Predator Micro and putting an adapter on it, or we might be using something else. I'll have to dig it out of the Magic Toolbox. And we're also going to use, maybe, hang on, VTX03, bam, and a far view antenna and all that other stuff. So what we're going to do first, this is a mess. It's always a mess. Okay. Bam. Perfect. So where is my L? I am not going to use, a lot of people don't believe in this, but I am not going to use thread lock, and I'm only using 2 screws. I have never, ever in 4 years had a motor come loose. Sometimes, like I say in every build video, I sound like a broken record. Sometimes I Loctite them, sometimes I don't. The reason I'm not is because I genuinely just do not know where my fucking Loctite's at. I think it fell behind the bench and I'm too lazy to get it. If you guys hear a buzzing in the background, that is my fan. It's like, what time is it? I don't know, 11 o'clock in the morning. It's like 95 fucking degrees outside and the humidity's like 600%. It's wetter than Bardwell's sheep when he comes in the barn. It's nasty, isn't it? And it's supposed to rain tonight. It's about 4 o'clock, I think. So, here we go. We're just going to torque these down. Not a big deal. And again, remember something, kids. You're going from a mild steel screw into an aluminum base. The steel will win the race. Okay? So do not over torque. What is the proper torque? I don't know. Tight enough not to fucking fall off. But when in doubt, use thread lock. Another cool little trick you can do is you can take your old ladies or Le Dribs, doesn't matter, clear nail polish, put a little bit of clear nail polish on the threads, and then stick them in. And that'll work just fine. I got 2 bastard screws here that are gold. I believe these came with what motors? Oh, these came with those BBBs. Fucking great motors. As a matter of fact, I'm going to buy another set of those for another bird I've got. So this is going to be a really cool bird. And I was going to put my buddy Nave Ask. Shout out to you, brother. He's the guy that did my intros and outros. He's brilliant, brilliant graphics guy. He sent me, out of the goodness of his heart, a Runcam Split. Version 2, I believe, and I was going to use that in this. I thought, wow, that's going to be really cool because I have a ton of room in this canopy, but it's a bitch because you can't get the SD card out with this big old canopy, and I am not taking this fucker on and off all the time. So there you go. So I'm not going to use it, at least not in this build. So now the back side is going to be where you've got these 2 zip strip lines for your battery lead. That's going to be the front side. Okay. Easy enough. Now we're going to grab our standoffs, and I'm going to find some metal screws because I do not like using plastic screws with standoffs. So I don't think these are going to be long enough. Story of my life. Might. This one I'm not quite as worried about with a crash with that stuff because it has a fully protected canopy on there. So I'm not quite as concerned about it ripping off. Again, for you guys that have never watched me do a build, I usually don't use plastic screws holding in standoffs because, like, a lot of the bird styles I build are protons and things like this. And when you crash, it can totally rip your stack, break those plastic screws right off. I don't like doing that because then to replace them, it's a complete pain in the ass. So, you know. take it with a grain of salt. I usually use longer M3 screws than these, but these were sitting right there. Never pass up a free lunch, right? So, nothing but a peanut. This is going to be a really easy build because there's a ton. The nice thing about this, I'm used to building really tight builds. You know, a lot of the Mochas are really tight frames. What is this guy? This is a campfire that I modified. This was the Limey. That's reasonably intricate to build, obviously. That one's crooked too. I don't know what I did wrong with that. Anyhow, no big deal. But this one's like a fucking limo. It's like a Motley Crue limo in here. I don't know where my socket went. Oh well, we don't need it. Good enough. Okie dokie. So, I always build from motors in. I just don't know if it's necessarily right or wrong, but we're going to do it that way. Now, what you can do with this one is you can mount it this way or you can mount it this way. If you mount it this way, you're soldering from the underside. Okay? Let's check out our canopy. Yep. Alright, so you're not going to see this because the wires are going to run into here and out here. So I'm just going to do this. Why make life hard? I'm going to make this nice and easy. And we're going to mount it the correct way. See, you got motor. Well, no, this is the wrong way. It should be flipped, but I'm not going to flip it. It should see motor 2, motor 1, motor 4, blah, 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 blah. Same thing over here. So this is motor 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do it upside down. Just because it's going to make soldering easier, I will have to remap the motors in Betaflight, which is no big deal. And what we're going to do too, man, fucking everything is missing, always. Ah, shit. Socket just went in my coffee. Oh well. Adds roto flavor. We're going to trim those down a little bit so we can get a nice tight fit. I only stock 2 separate types. 2 things. These style standoffs, I'll put these in the description. I get them off Amazon. And relatively long M3 nylon screws. And I just cut them down to size. Actually, next time I order, I might even get longer ones. And that's all I use. That's it. I buy them in bulk. I buy, 200 at a time. And that's it. Pretty simple stuff. So, something we got to think about now. When you're building a bird you've never built before, which I have not built this particular style, if our canopy is going on like that, how's our wiring going? It is going right through these, doohickey there, going right through those holes in the arms, so that's easy enough. But what we're going to have to do then is we're going to wrap the motor wires like this, underneath these standoffs. Bam, nothing but a peanut. So what we're going to do first is we're going to take our silly tape, or our silicone tape, and a cutting surface. Now the trick to this silicone tape, try not to get it dusty and dirty and gross. I use this stuff all the time, and you guys have seen these videos that I do. I use this stuff religiously. I do not use electrical tape, ever. Ever, ever, ever. When I use electrical tape, go watch Bardwell do a slaughter. He calls them builds, I call them slaughters. No place for electrical tape. None. I could have cut that even, but I didn't. So then I take this stuff, but you don't want to get dust on the connecting side because it won't stick to itself worth a shit. Okay. You want to pull this stuff reasonably tight and it will stick to itself. I'm gonna have to recut these. That's gonna bug me, sorry. All right, good enough. But you don't want this stuff loose because the trick to this silicone tape is pulling it tight so it sticks to itself. Nothing but a peanut. And then after this, we're going to tin the ESC. All right. Easy. It's going to be a really cool bird when it's done. All right. I am soldering. Let me turn on the soldering iron. about 384 on heat. A little bit warm, but I solder fast. If you're solder slow, if you're not really used to soldering and you kind of take your time and you go really, really slow, you might want to bring your juice down a little bit, okay? But I'm pretty quick on the in and out, and I think I'm out of solder. Close enough. Good enough. All right. We're going to let that heat up. I will go ahead and tin this, and I'll be right back. All right, we should be hot enough. So here's what we're going to do. We'll go ahead and zoom in. Again, not a soldering tutorial, but we will go ahead and show you a little bit. So we got our solder. Like I always say, you do not need to be pooling perfectly when you do a tin job. Having it like a teardrop like that is perfectly fine, because when you put the solder on there, or I'm sorry, when you put the wire on there, it's going to wet out, okay? No big deal. You do not need a ton either. I'm actually putting on way more than I even need. But I'm not used to building without drinking, so maybe that's probably the problem. Alright. Only been wanting to do this build for 2 fucking months, okay? Easy enough, and you guys out there, that's not how you tin. No, you tin the way you want. This is how I do it. You don't want to overheat your pads. And when you put the wire on there, it is going to wet out. So what we're going to do is we're going to unbraid here, wrap around. This is way too long, so we're going to give it to there. I did put these motors, as you can see, these were tinned. I had these motors on a different build that I never even flew. I built it 2 days ago. You guys haven't seen it. And I decided to take them off. I'm going to use a different style motor, because I originally bought these motors for this particular build, but the frame never came and never came and never came. And I was like, okay, this is what we're going to do. All right, how I strip these, for you guys, again, that have never seen me do this. Okay. I simply take my thumbnail. Silicone wire strips very, very easy. Give it a little bit of a twist. Twisting keeps everything in line. Stray wires, and it also gets the oxygen out, okay? Which is not that important. It just sounds really cool and geeky, okay? So, we're gonna tin. When I do these, any type of wire, usually, I will go behind the wire. You probably can't see this. Behind the wire, heat the wire, roll the solder over. Bam, done. Bam, done. Okay? Good enough. So, then what we're going to do, it does not have to be super nice and neat, because we've got a big old canopy it's going to be covering this. So now, I'm going to turn. Just like that. Sorry, you didn't even see that. So what I do with this, you can use a tweezers if you have delicate little fingers, but what I'll do is I'll heat through the wire first, I'll drag the soldering iron forward, and that's it. Man, my contacts are blurry today. Damn. Yeah, need to redo that one. So we're going to straighten it out. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the other 3 off camera, and then we'll be right back. Bam! All right, we're back. So the nice thing about building a canopy bird such as this, and the style of this, is the fact that my wife would call it, my smoking hot wife would call it the Monica closet, meaning you don't have to be super nice and neat, because this is going to cover frickin' everything. So anyway, next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the lead on. Battery. Ooh, that looks like crap. There we go. Okay. I'm going to go grab some wire for this, because I just remembered. Ah, shit. See, you know, a professional person would edit that shit out. But if you don't make mistakes, how do you learn? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and rotate the XT60s so they're easier to solder for you. All right. Just because I'm too lazy to move my soldering station for you guys, I'm just going to do it this way. Okay? Easy enough. That is all you need to do. Pliers with a rubber band on the end of the handle, kids. It does not need to be fancy. And we're just going to tin this up. Bam. You do not need to fill this up with solder. Just like that's fine, okay? I'm going to go grab some wire. Bam, be right back. Here's a really useful tip for you new guys, okay? Save your old batteries that blow up and keep the wire. It makes for great wire for your battery lead on your birds. So we're gonna go ahead and tin this up. Okay, easy enough. And we're just gonna do the same methodology with the old pliers. See if this will hold both. I don't usually do it this way. I use my helping hands, but yeah, whatever. All right, I'm just not in the mood to move it. Of course, don't use your solder for the tip station. So we're gonna go under here, heat up from the side. The solder is gonna help you displace the heat. Then we're gonna go over here. When you start melting through on the other side, you're good. Okay? Again, this is tinning. When we put this in the connector, you're gonna see it melt through a lot better. And I'm running a little too cold on my soldering iron for this thick a gauge. This should have been done by now. I'll kick it up for the other end. So, you really want to make sure you get the center saturated. There we go. Because if you only get the edge, I'm going to turn that up. If you only get the edge of the wire, what'll happen is when you go to bend the wire, the soldered bit will stay and the frayed ends will come up, and that's bad. You don't want that. Shit will short out. Okay, so we're just gonna go back to this method here. Let's see if we can do it this way. Yeah, it's amazing how lazy you can become sometimes. All right, we're just gonna do it this way. Okay. Round side's negative, flat side's positive. So we're going to go ahead and do the side farthest from you first. It's just easier. Heat her up. Perfect. Side two. Sometimes if you heat up the jack first, it helps. All right. Nothing but a peanut. Now, look at that. That's what you want it to look like. Very good. All right, so then what we're going to do is we're going to even up the wires. These are exceptionally fucking hot right now. Woo! All right. Because I did not cut them off the battery even. Okay. This is boring. So what we're going to do, I'm going to tin these up off sides here, and then I will show you how I put them on the board. Bam! All right. Yeah, that works a lot better when your soldering iron's hot. Okay, so now here we go. Positive side is on our right, negative's on the left, okay? See, positive, negative, but I actually looked through that hole in the board and saw it through there. So we're gonna do the side farthest from you first. The reason you do it that way, at least I do it that way, is because if you do this one first, then it's kind of in your way when you're laying over the soldering iron. So that's just how I do it. So what we're gonna do, what did I say it was? Yeah, negative's this side. I'm going to put a pre-bend in these a little bit. You don't have to do this. All right. Then what we're going to do is we're going to lay it on top, and we're going to heat through the wire into the board. Perfect. Whoa, that's hot. Perfect. Okay. That's nice. That ain't going nowhere. Perfect. All right, so turn that soldering iron back down. All right, so the next thing is next. What we're gonna do, next thing is next. How stupid was that? All right, our flight controller. Now, this is the Betaflight F4? Yeah, Betaflight F4. This is the way it's supposed to be facing. You can see, where is it? There's an arrow right there above the processor. But with my canopy, it has cutouts in it, but if I put it there, I won't be able to get the USB in. So I'm going to rotate it this way. 180 out. Nothing but, I know people hate it when I do that, nothing but a peanut, okay? But first things first, we are going to tin the positive and negative anywhere here, okay? Positive, negative, all these ESC leads, because this is a power distribution board. We're going to go off ground, hop, and positive here, because that's going to have to tag into the wires coming out of the ESC. All right, so I'm just going to use this as my holder. Go. Our positive side, our negative side. Bam, nothing. All right, so there you go. Positive side right there, negative side there. I don't think there's anything else in the bottom I need to deal with. I think everything else is top side. I haven't done a Betaflight in a while. So now we're going to take the cable for the ESC and we're going to cut this because there is no port going into the Betaflight. So I'm just going to cut that off. How these work, this can be your positive, current sensor, negative. I'm trying to remember. I don't use current sensing, and I know a lot of people slap me for that. Why don't you use it? Because I don't care what my draw is. And then you've got motor 1 on the outside, 2 is the next one, 3 and 4. But it really doesn't matter because I'm going to remap them anyway. But, you know, we can make our life easier. So, trim these up. Why am I using this? Trim these up. All right. Now, these positive and negatives coming off of here are the battery. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to tin all of these in a second. And we're going to bring those 2 wires to those 2 pads that we just tinned up, because that's where you're going to get your battery voltage detection and your battery voltage into your board. Okay, top side was negative, right? Yep. Okay. So we're just going to go this way. That's the only thing I'd probably change about this particular board. I don't love the whole positive and negative shit on the bottom. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. Not a big deal, but all right. Okay, and that's that. That's what you've got. But you see, it's just kind of awkward. I should have soldered it going that way, but I'm not going to worry about it. All right, so we're going to mount it this way. Make sure you're flat. Make sure you do not have any motor wires holding you up, okay? And then we're going to take a couple of nuts and put them on. Easy, easy, easy. Nothing big. So we're going to do that. Boring. Usually I cut the camera a whole lot more than this. But I thought, why not? It is so fucking hot out here. So, I usually just do hand tight. And then I do my little trick. The soldering iron. Take this. You could trim these, but we're not going to bother. I just put a little bit of a melt mark in there. Plastic thread lock, baby. And you can still get them off. It's not permanent. All right, perfect. So next thing we're going to do, we've got the positive, we've got the negative of that. We can go ahead and plug this. I'm not going to plug it in yet because I want to twist the wires after it's done. So we're going to go ahead and strip and tin these, and then we'll solder those into the motor inputs. Bam, be right back. All right, we are back. So what I have done is I took and tinned our harness, motors 1, 2, 3, 4. They are labeled on the board. And this is a pain in the ass board because you have to keep flipping it over. I forgot about that. All the labeling for this shit's on the other side. I did not pay attention to where I soldered them because I'm going to remap the motors anyway. But just for you guys, let's see. This one is motor 3, motor 4, and obviously motor 1, motor 2, and then our positive and negative coming in. Now what we're going to do with that eventually is we're just going to twist this up, make it semi-organized, give it a twist, and then we're going to plug it into the ESC. But now we got flipper upside down. Notice that's why I didn't plug it into the ESC. And I did tin a little bit of heat stroke there on that one. Woo! Okay. Now we've got on the bottom side, okay, voltage in, voltage out, or I'm sorry, video in, video out, camera voltage. But how I do these, I don't know if you guys can even see this, video in, video in, video out, and then ground 5 volts and S-bus is right up here. It's very confusing how I do this because start at the bottom, ground 3 volts, DSM, blah, blah, then ground 5 volts, S-bus, okay? And then your LEDs above that, whatever else. So it is a little bit confusing how they do this, but I'm going to take my receiver right here, so ground 5 volts S-bus, and then video in, video out from the VTX, whatever. And I'm going to use 5 volts and real power for camera and VTX. So let's go ahead and do the VTX first. I'm going to flip it back over. Like I said, this is a good board. Don't be scared of it. I did also tin ground 5 volts up here just because. It is a really good board, but it is a pain in the ass to solder. I'm not going to lie to you, just because you always have to keep flipping it, doing all that shit. So we're going to take a VTX 03. I do not use the same power. I always cut these off. Some people complain about that. Like, oh, I don't do it that way. Well, don't do it that way then. So what we've got is 5 volts in on the VTX and signal, okay? Those two I just cut off could be 5 volts going out to your camera if you wanted, but I don't do it that way. Then we're going to take a pigtail and a piece of heat shrink. I do this on every single bird that I put a far view on, or any antenna. I always do this heat shrink trick. You'll be money ahead, okay? Put that little piece of heat shrink over the top, grab my fancy dancy hairdryer, and that, my kids, will keep it from popping off in a crash and burning up your VTX. So then we're going to do that. We're going to tin these up. Then I'm going to wire the negative into 5 volt negative, the positive into 5 volt positive, and this is going into video out. So I'll do that real quick and I'll show you what I do. Okie dokie. So what we did, we took our VTX and we wired it into, where's my pointer? 5 volts and ground anywhere on the board, doesn't matter. As long as it says 5 volts and ground, you're good, because the VTX 03 only takes 5 volts, kids. And then we took our signal into the video out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our receiver. This is one of those weird ass little tiny $7 FR Sky receivers. They're literally $7, and I bought them off Banggood. For me, they work really well. They're not diversity, they're nothing fancy. They do PPM, S-Bus, and even PWM. Look at all those. But they're not diversity, and I think they're a park flyer. But since I run a booster in my transmitter, they seem to fly pretty far away from me. Good enough for me anyway, because I don't take smaller birds. I don't take quads super far away. All right. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this into ground, 5 volts, and S bus right there, okay? So I'll do that, and I'll be right back. All right, we're back. So here's what we did. We took our receiver, and we plugged it in right where I said we were going to do. Negative, 5 volt, and S bus. It says LED, but below is the actual label. Don't screw that up. I found a brand new Foxeer in my box. Bam! But here's the problem with using this micro. Why did I buy this? I don't know. I got so many spare parts, I don't know. And it matches terribly, I think. That's definitely darker than what it is. But that's okay. I don't care. What we're going to do, though, this is a full size or a mini. Looks like a full size. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this. Let me see what I can dig up. Bam, be right back. Well, I wasn't very prepared for this, but that's okay. I found something. Now, this is one of those generic Eachine TVL 1000s, and this will work. I will replace it at a later date, but for you guys, same principle applies. Put in whatever camera you want. Put in a nicer camera. But these, believe it or not, these were really cheap back in the day. They were like 20 bucks. And they fit pretty, they work pretty well. They really do. I'll probably replace it. I just thought I had one and I did not. That's the problem when you build too many fucking birds. You get these drawers full of crap and it's like, what do I have? What do I don't have? So put in, I would recommend a Foxeer Monster. I actually printed off mini to full size. I thought I had a Predator and I guess I used it. Oh, I used it. Never mind, now I know what I did with it. And I printed off adapters to put a mini in here. And I used it because I got tired of waiting for this fucking frame. Either way. But for what we care about, for you guys, use any camera you want. And we're just going to go ahead and wire this one in. Because it all plays the same. I mean, the camera might suck, and these aren't bad. They're not a Foxeer, but they're, you know, they work. You got to remember something else, too. I'm very colorblind, so I don't really judge cameras the way a lot of normal people would. You know, saturations and whatnot. You know, these guys that do these awesome reviews on cameras, and, oh, this one's great, and this one's this, and this one's that. As long as it's clear, I don't, that's that's my criteria. So this is the last thing we're soldering in before we mount the board. So all we're going to do is find another 5 volts, because I believe that camera's a 5 volt camera, so I'm not going to take the chance and smoke it. And we're going to put the video in there. So that's going to be, this wire here is going to go to video in here, and then we're going to take it to another 5 volt right here, 5 volt and ground. And then we'll put everything back. Be right back. Bam, we're back. All right, so now we've got pretty much everything done that we need to get done. Got our receiver on there, our VTX on there, and our ESC set up there, and camera, obviously. So we're gonna twist these wires up too, and we'll neaten all this up as we put it in, okay? So, how do we wanna run these? Through the front or through the side? It really doesn't matter. I'm gonna go through the side, okay? And we're going to mount a loud ass bird out there. I don't know what that is. Make sure none of your wires are getting pinched. Bam, perfect. Okay, put our nuts back on. Some dude left a message on my thing saying, stop making fun of Bardwell. I'm like, really? Now I'm making fun of AMA. I'm leaving Bardwell alone. All the Bardwell jokes were just jokes, guys. Jesus, take a fucking breath. Anyhow, AMA. Yeah, you know, while I'm putting this together, I made a rant or two the other day about, you know, we're talking about all the regulations coming down, and now I'm going to do another rant here because there's some guy in South America got attacked by drones, or there was a almost attack by drones. I haven't really researched it yet, and I was talking to my buddy Space last night, Pete, and I said, how come model rockets can go 8,000 fucking feet up in the air? Nobody cares about those. And I used to have friends that were model rocket geeks, and they built some big shit, dude. I mean, bigger than quads, right? And missiles. I mean, they look like fucking missiles. They don't have a limit, I don't believe. If they do, I don't know how you would control it. But can't those take down a plane? It's like a fucking missile. Just saying. All right. So there we go. So now we got to figure out our mounting. First thing we're going to do with the VTX, I'm going to probably mount the VTX to the back of the camera. I do that all the fucking time. It works out really well, and I'll show you what I do with that. And we're going to take our SMA, stick it through here, stick it through here. Put a little bit of thread lock on there if it makes you feel better at night. I don't. I do sometimes, because I hate it when my SMA spins. Bugs me. Bam. All right. So what I do with these VTXs is I'll take, about went in the coffee again. Take double-sided tape. I fold it in half. Give myself 2 sides. And if I'm using a full-size camera, and if I have the room, which in this case I'm pretty sure I do, without even checking, I will actually mount the VTX right to the back of the camera. As for the receiver, where am I putting that? That's a good question. We can put the receiver, I'm going to put it right up here. We're not going to put it on the processor itself. We're going to stick it back here so we're not on top of the gyro. Same principle. No, it does not cause problems. I do it all the time. People get so anal about shit. This is an F4, guys. This is not an F7, you know, super susceptible, blah, 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 blah. You ain't going to break the bank with this. Okay? And we're just going to put that guy somewhere right there. Perfect. Okay? We'll worry about the antenna a bit later. And then we're going to, real quick, we're going to strap those down. Does these, when you zip strip your wires in, this is how I do it. I make them to break away. I don't use super thick zip strips here because it can cause more problems than it's worth. It can actually break your solder joints as well. So what I do, this will actually absorb impact. Think of it as almost like a shock. It will probably, you know, and if it does rip, it will probably break the zip strip, but the zip strip will stop the initial impact, and bam, you'll be fine. Okay. Now, the other thing that I do, I don't know if I have any left. That's too small. Shit. Oh well, I think I'm out. Usually what I do is I'll take a piece of heat shrink, I'll stretch it out with the needle nose pliers, I'll slide it over the connector, bam, that's all pretty. But we're just going to conformal coat these. You probably should wrap some tape around them, but I don't. I conformal coat so I don't short out, if in case it does touch anything conductive. What's the next bit? We should probably check to see if this thing's going to blow up. So what we're going to do now, everything's hooked up except the antenna. We're going to put our meter on continuity and we're going to give it a prostate check. You should get one beep like that. If you do constant beep, you got a short. Perfect. Okay. So, bam, bam, bam. Then what we're going to do, I'm going to peel off this piece of tape. I'm going to hook up the camera, you know, plug that in, put the VTX on there. How we're going to hold this down, how are we going to hold this down? Yeah, we're going to take bolts and slide them through the canopy this way and then put nuts on the bottom of the frame. I'm not going to fasten that down yet just because I'm going to have to bind the receiver and do all this other little goofy shit. And I have to figure out my antenna yet, whatever else. So let me go ahead and pop this thing together just so you guys can get a look of what it's going to be like. Oh, yeah, wait a minute. I actually printed a bunch of stuff for this because I was bored. I made a pagoda, far view of course, and I even printed that with the stripes. I made a bunch of this other stuff too that I'm not even going to use because I made adapters because I wasn't sure what camera I was going to use. We need to use this. SMA spinner. A little big, but it looks cool. Woohoo. Nice. I think that's it. This is just a bunch of shit I was playing with on the printer. So we'll go ahead and pop this together. Be right back. All right, real quick, before we button this thing up, that's how I do the VTXs with a full-size camera. It just sticks right on the end there. And then we'll take a battery. We shall plug it in. Everybody's happy, okay? Like I said, I'm not gonna bolt this down yet. We're just gonna pop it together so you guys can have a look at what it's gonna be like. I have no idea what I'm doing with this antenna yet. That's not a big deal. So, yeah, she's gonna be cool. I like it. I don't know if it was worth the wait, but it's cool nonetheless. Got plenty of room for the VTX on the back of the camera. Bam, that's what she's gonna look like. I am actually going to try to get a flight video in today for this. I'm gonna go in the house real quick and button this up, make sure everything's mapped and working right. I really think that I'm just gonna run the antenna. See, we can get our USB in there. I'm gonna run the antenna just like along here maybe. Should be okay. I've done that before. But yeah, it printed really nice. It's gonna be a bad little bird. So when I do the flight test, I'll show you the total finished product. But for the most part, that is it. Doesn't get much more done than that. Hopefully the fucking camera works, because that thing's been in the toolbox forever. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. Let's see what the all-up weight is. And it's, you know, kind of cheating because there's no props or anything like that. But this is not going to be light. This is a very big canopy. This is a freestyle bird, guys. It's not going to be light. Yeah, 320. This is a lead sled. But it's going to fly really fast. I tend to like my quads a little heavy. I like them all. I like them light. I like them heavy, whatever. I'm seriously thinking about moving that silicone tape, though. Actually, I might just take it off. Or I might move it on the inside of the canopy. I think it looks like shit, so we're just going to take it off. Yes, I'm scarring that up. Oh no, what are you doing? Okay, there we go. That looks better. I might just leave it like that, to be honest, because the canopy's going to hold it down. Yeah, fuck it. Looks good. All right. Cool. So I'm going to go set this thing up, and then hopefully I can get a flight in on it, JJ's cheap-ass hat cam, before the rain comes. So, bam. Stay tuned, kids. Be back in a while. Keep shiny side up. Bye.
Bam, JJ! Hope you like fishing. Bam, JJ! Hey, JJ! Hope you like fishing.